So like this, multiple ways are there. Third one is Wi-Fi actually. So your mobile Wi-Fi is on, and if it is near some market Wi-Fi location, then it is validated that you are at the right location. So similarly, in case of requirement gathering also, there are multiple ways. You will discuss the things with a lot of people, whether it is technical or it is non-technical, or you will try to understand from directly from client. So once you do a lot of these practices, you will be able to triangulate the requirements properly. That's what you should do as an engineer. You should try to triangulate and validate each and everything. So if I'm saying as an engineer or as a developer, like login should work in this particular pattern, or the maximum length of the username field is 10. So you should not take it as is. You should double check with the client, double validate it with the requirement documents. A lot of time it happened like the boundary conditions are not written in the document. So what is a boundary condition? Boundary conditions are those conditions where a lot of software actually fail. It may not be day-to-day scenario, but it might happen. So for example, in my database, I have given username length as 100 characters. But in my text box, I'm letting the user type 200 characters or 500 characters. So that is a boundary condition. If somebody types in that much, software might break. So these tiny pieces you will have to check and validate and try to triangulate. Check the information from multiple resources and validate whether the information is right or not. So many times it will not be written or it will not be documented, but you may then discuss like what should be the maximum length, and then you can document it. So we were discussing about requirement gathering, and like in this case, this guy says like what are the challenges? We cannot gather all the information at one time. So you should assume like whatever you are hearing is half truth, half is hidden or nobody knows it. You should try to get as much as possible. Lots of discussions are needed. Sometimes the speed of discussion would be too fast and too slow to understand, but you should always try to grasp as much as possible. Take the notes from discussion, ask the questions about those notes. So the only variable thing is time here. Requirements are changing. Everybody is trying to achieve the same goal, that is successful project. And the only piece that is changing is is like time. So today the time is different. You have no idea what the system is doing and where it is going, what it will look like in its final form. After 10 days you will have some confidence about the system, like you know ABC of the system. After 30 days or 40 days you will be sure like A through I or JKL, you know a little bit of everything. And after 1 month, after 2 months, you will know at least XYZ of the system. If it is like superficial, still it is okay. You are touching each and every piece of the system. So that's what you should do every day. Try to understand one piece and be master in it. So every day, piece by piece, when you try to read the data and information, then you will load it into your brain, and then you will be master someday. So this guy has written and documented it very nicely. I suggest everybody to go through these. These are not actually theory. These are like his experiences which he has documented. So this is about different stages of software testing. Like this is about actual testing. And he has written what are the best practices and challenges. It's very detailed document. It's not a theory. It's like crux of his experience. So I'll send this after the call and you guys can go through this. This is just for your post-session reading. But in this session, what I want to focus on to different areas of software testing, and then we will focus on to one particular piece, that is software process, testing process. So we have domains, we have tools and methodologies, we have process. This is software testing process. And we have services. So if you are covering each of that area piece by piece, then you might be champion someday. maybe 6 months, maybe 10 months, maybe 1 year. The time varies for individual, but if you are aware that these areas you are supposed to touch, and everywhere you should have some knowledge or some idea, at least if you are not master of it, you should be aware of it. Like if somebody says what is agile, yeah, I am aware that's how it works. I might have worked, I might have not worked in agile methodology, but I am aware of the overall concept. And similarly, these are the various tool. It's not necessarily like you would have used each and every tool of this, but at least you are aware that what is the purpose of this tool, when it is used, and how it is used. If somebody asks you to install and configure Jira, I might not be able to do because I'm a tester and my focus is different. I need to find the bugs. But if somebody helps me, I will be able to use it. What is domain? Anybody can tell me? I'm just double checking, like what is the level of your curiosity and what you understand from domain. Anyone? Madhvi, Khyati. Am I audible, Amit?
Yeah, this
Yes.
domain is a distinct subset of the internet with addressing share a common suffix or under the control of a particular organization or individual.
Okay. Yeah, what you are saying is perfectly right in the context of internet, or what is the technical explanation of domain. So what when we talk in terms of business, the domain means a bigger umbrella under which the whole functionality is bundled. So, for example, take healthcare. What is written here? Healthcare is a domain. So, if somebody says you like what domain you have worked on to, so if your project is about testing one application that is used inside hospitals to track the blood data or blood group data or different blood tests that are conducted inside a hospital. So you assume that you have worked only for 6 or 8 months, and this was the only project where you have worked. So somebody, when you go for interview and somebody asks, what is the domain in which you worked? So you should say like, I worked in healthcare and this was my project. My project was managing the blood group data or blood test data, generating various reports, and there was a complex website which was used to share a lot of content and data. So this is one example of domain. Next example is retail or assume that after months, Hari's got a job in Flipkart company or maybe Amazon.com. So if Harish is trying to change a job, or somebody who is talking to Harish casually in a coffee shop, like, where do you work and what do you do? She said like, I work in retail domain and my company is Flipkart. Inside Flipkart, there are a lot of things that are going on, but we work on the software piece that manages the shipping part of goods to the customer. And if there are any grievances, we address those grievances. So that whole system is tested and managed by us. So this is what you mean by domain. You should try to understand the bigger umbrella. Bigger umbrella is retail, and then there might be 10 different tools that he or she is using inside a Flipkart company or a healthcare company to do his day-to-day job. They might be following agile methodologies or waterfall methodologies, and the process will remain pretty much same. They plan the test cases, they design the test, they plan the test process, they design the test cases and test scenarios. They execute the test cases, generate the reports using tools or technologies, and analyze and prevent the overall impact. So this is the process. And services or the areas of this testing can be different, like system testing, integration testing, user acceptance testing or UAT, what we call regression testing, and compatibility testing. Data testing is just another extension to it. So hope you guys are aware of all these areas now, and you will try to sink in these concepts into your brain, because this is very helpful. It covers almost everything that you should do as a tester. Okay. Next comes testing process. This is actual testing process. So I have divided this testing process into 3-4 sections. First one is requirement gathering. Once the project starts, we go into requirement gathering phase immediately. So a lot of times, even the project is not confirmed for the company, like company has not yet got that project, but the requirement gathering starts in parallel. People start talking about, hushing about the different concept that the project will have. Technical people or the development guy will start discussing about technology. They will be using .NET, or they will be using Java, maybe PHP, different technologies. Similarly, testers will start hushing and discussing about the testing. Oh, this is a very complex project. We have 100 web pages, and then customers should be able to do, or take example of healthcare. So they are generating a platform where anybody can order blood test online. So somebody goes to their home, and then he tries to collect the blood samples, or that blood sample is automatically barcode scanned and sent into system. So all those details they start discussing ahead of the time. A lot of time it happens, and then they start documenting it. And once the documentation starts, people start reading and consuming those documents and start asking questions. Start asking question to whom? Most of the time to business analyst, or the client itself, the actual client. So there are live sessions, like I'm discussing with you guys. There will be session, and they will be posting the questions. Um, when What is the way we read the barcode, whether it is QR code, or it is the actual barcode, or it is some kind of mobile messaging system, how it is done, what's your opinion? So many of the client, they get the idea out of these questions only. Oh, this is how we should do this. Oh, this is a problem, we need to discuss with the technical team. How will they be validating the customer is real or not? His phone number, SMS, every fine detail is popped up after these discussions only. When the a lot of time when the requirements are given, they are very abstract requirement. The granular or concrete requirements are actually pulled when people start discussing. So there is designing of the test cases, SRS walkthrough, business review, business analysis, technical analysis. So technical analysis, technical discussion, and technical reviews goes in parallel, mostly by the technical team. But a lot of time QA team is also involved in technical discussions, because they want to understand the technical perspective. So what technical discussion QA people might be involved into? It is primarily a database design, and how the system is handling. So for example, if a bank system is designed, and they are discussing about the transaction, how the transactions will be done, when the transaction will fail, how to handle it. When I inserted ATM card and I didn't get the money, and its system says like money has been deducted from the system, so it is a fail scenario. How will the technical team handle it? So if you are hearing those conversations, not technically but functionally, then you are much more aware about the overall transaction mechanism. So that's where QA team is involved. Now, development phase. So when the development team is actually developing the product, they are writing a lot of code for the actual product. What QA team should be doing? They are not sitting idle. They are writing the test scenarios and the detailed test case around each scenario. So what I mean by scenario versus a test case. So if I'm in a banking system, and I'm just adding a beneficiary. So adding a beneficiary is a scenario. Now there are multiple steps in that. Like I write the name, I write the account number, IFSC code, and then any first name, last name if I want to associate with it, his email and phone number. So when I fill in all this information, I can say save the beneficiary. Now behind the scene, a lot of banks, they say like your beneficiary will be activated immediately, and many banks want to keep the restriction like after half an hour beneficiary will be added. And now after the beneficiary is added, there are another set of rules. I can transfer 50,000 rupees on day one, and then and there onwards I can transfer more money. Why it is kept like that? For the security reason. These rules can be different for each and every bank or each and every client. So when we go through this, it is only one single scenario. Adding a beneficiary is a scenario. Now, the number of test cases that will be inside this scenario may be 1,000 of test cases. Whether the phone number field is taking 10 characters or it is taking 100 character, it is a bug and a test case. Now, the phone number can be international or it can be only Indian number. It again depends on the customer. If customer wants to allow international numbers, we'll have to make the arrangement for it. How the UI is designed, you want to have an international telephone code separate and then the phone number separate, or you want to let them type in a single box as a free text field. So this is a separate kind of scenario. This is a separate test case altogether. There might be 10 test cases for a single box. So scenario is very simple, like adding a beneficiary, or it is a use case. And the number of test cases that can be broken is like maybe 100, maybe 1,000, depends on the requirement. So when the development is going on, we were discussing like when the development goes, what the tester do. They plan, they in of the user, or say adding the beneficiary in a banking system, and you found that the beneficiary addition is not working as expected. So then this goes back to the developer. He will try to find and fix that bug. He will accept that it is a bug or it is not a bug. If he accepts, he again needs some time to fix that particular bug. And then you again need time to execute the test case again. And this is about particular test case. If it is causing some other issues, some other pieces it is breaking because developer has done a bad job, then you need more time. So always remember that in a real project, if you need time, don't be conservative. Tell very frankly, very safely, like I need a lot of time. They will ask you how much time do you need. If your gut feeling is like you need 1 day or 2 days, you can safely say I need 3 days. Just simply add 30% of your actual estimate, because that's what happens on the actual working environment. People will say like they will come in the morning at 10 o'clock, but they might be late because of traffic or because of something. And all these things actually adds up to the delayed product. So don't be conservative, be very relaxed and open. When somebody asks you for estimate in terms of executing the test case, estimate in terms of like when the actual bug will be fixed, you will give the estimate for executing the test case and retesting it. A developer will give the estimate in terms of how much time he will take to fix it. So if you are taking 2 days to estimate, execute the test case, and the developer is taking 2 days to fix the bug, and then you need again 1 day to retest it. So total it becomes 5 days. You can safely say like it will be done in a week. So you get Saturday, Sunday in case some emergency comes. So is that clear? Any questions till now? Am I present or lost everyone?
No, no question.
Okay. So this is about executing the test cases. Now in between there is defect logging or defect tracking. So you will be using certain tools here, like I listed Jira, or TestLink, or maybe Bugzilla. So these are the tools where you actually record the bugs. If you found a bug, so let me show you our system. Amit, can we show the TFS system to people here?
Yeah, sure. No issues.
Okay. Amit, you might have to help me find. We did little bit of use of TFS.
Yeah, sure.
But you were using it extensively, I remember. Sorry about my slow internet. Maybe I'll stop my video for a while until it loads. So, do you guys see? We have test plans here. This is our cloud test management system. So, vnurt.visualstudio.com/vnurt, and this is telling you what about this project. This is a wiki page where we can add more details, and there are dashboards. Wiki pages are usually about particular project or particular system. Anybody can write and manage these, but usually somebody who's authorized from management, they modify and maintain these pages. So for example, somebody like Abhinendra joined new in the project, but you all rest all are working for last 5-6 months. So you don't want to go and tell each and everything to Abhinendra on day one. So you will say like, this is the link to wiki page. You go and read about the project during your whole day, and tomorrow ask the questions about it, and then we will explain. So the way I'm doing with you guys, I give you some content and then say like, you read it throughout your day, and then in the evening we'll come and discuss. So similarly, anybody can follow these wiki pages and can understand the different concepts in the project before actually coming and discussing. So our dashboard is not loading somehow. So we have here test plan, test parameters, test configuration, and test runs. And there is a load test also. So Amit, do we have anything inside test plan, or it just blank thing?
Okay. I'm not sure if we have put any. I can show some dashboards and all. It is pretty old data because now we have moved to Trello, right?
Yeah. So test plan will not load anything.
Test plans. No, I don't think we have.
Can you have a look somewhere you created, or we have anything?
Yeah,
Looks like something is loaded.
Go to test plans.
Okay. I'll stop the share. Probably it is slow because of share. Okay, I'm inside test plans now.
So you go to this learn portal test plan is there, right?
It is still loading for me.
Left side team, there's one small test plan.
Can you share your screen, Amit?
Yeah, sure, I'll share. Can you stop sharing?
Because it is really slow for me somehow. Okay, I can see your screen.
Yeah, so you can create a test plan like this, right?
Okay. Yeah, so if you guys see here, we have a learn portal test plan, and we have created few test cases here. These are the actual test cases. So this test plan can have multiple scenarios, and each and every scenario can have test cases. So these test cases you guys can mark as active or inactive, and you can run those. If you automate it, you can run those directly from here. So Amit, can you click on one of the test case if we have something over there? Okay. So yeah, we have this
See, these are
created.
the steps, right? All these steps written to validate
Yeah.
a particular test case.
If you remember, this was one of our tester who did this, I guess. Okay. So user launches VNlearn app login application and is required in the browser. System should launch login application in required browser successfully. Observe all the GUI elements of VNlearn app login page. System should display GUI elements as mentioned below. Username text box, password text box, and sign up is a button. And likewise and like forth. Amit, can you scroll down? We will just see the last one. Just to have them some idea what it looks like. Verified that sign up button enabled only when user enters username and valid password. So this is a good test case. System should enable sign up button only when user enters the username and valid password. So this is not happening today in the system, but look at the imagination of the user. Like if somebody is not typing anything and clicking sign up, then it is unnecessarily extra step showing some validation and then barring the user from doing any activity. It's better not to enable sign up button. So it's imaginary, but it is good thought. Like if we are stopping the user ahead of the time. So this is one test scenario actually on the login. So and then there are similar scenarios like create user and blah, blah, blah. What is not there? Everything related to login is there. So any questions still here? This is a tool basically. I was talking about tools, and this is a very good example how the tool is managing a lot of information. So, Amit, do you want to improve the test cases here? We can divide in certain exercises and give it to these guys. Maybe they can use the same username, password, and then keep on posting.
We can do that. Maybe let's discuss this offline, and then
okay.
if we give it to them, then they need to understand this tool also, right? Little bit.
Yeah, we need to do a walkthrough of this tool.
Yeah.
So primarily, they can go through test plan only and then continue the work there. They can create their own with their name, like Khyati test cases and then test scenarios, and Madhvi's separate bundles. The way we distributed workload between them, they can keep on working on this. So they will have some hands-on also. We will discuss and come back on this. Thank you, Amit, for sharing your screen because it was not loading for me somehow.
Okay. No problem. So I'll stop share. Anything else you want to show over here?
No, Amit, I'm good. I just wanted to show this tool to them.
Okay. So I'll stop my share then.
Okay. So I'm closing this window. I'm coming back to our website. And we were discussing about defect logging. So in the same tool, you can track the defects and assign it to any of the developer. And logging and tracking is different. When you just record a bug, it is called defect logging, but tracking is like when a bug goes through different stages. It will be new, and then if developer accepts it as a bug, then it will go under development, or it will be rejected, or it will be marked as not reproducible. So sometimes they might ask for more information on that bug. They might request you that like explain me how this bug is produced. So you'll have to assist them. Try to cooperate with them rather than like fight them like how dare you telling me that it is not a bug and all. So a lot of QA are trained because this is kind of work where you need to think a lot of negative scenarios. So what we observed in industry, lot of people become actually negative while thinking about the negative scenario. They themselves become negative. So don't try to do that. Try to find the bugs. Do not try to find wrong in the people. So a developer who has developed the system, he will always tell positive things about the system. And as a QA or engineer, you always try to find the bugs or failures in the system. But there is a middle discuss more, try to understand from others' perspective, try to explain them more, provide as much information as possible. Like when I was working with you guys, I like one thing from Madhvi that she's creating the videos of the actual bug and uploading in the system. So we were discussing last week with one of the person, and we indeed showed these videos like how nicely it is done by one of our tester, and he was very happy to see this. So what I want to explain here, like she tried to understand, like she cannot tell each and every detail, so she created a video and she posted it here. So this way anybody will be able to reproduce or understand what the other person is saying. Need not to write a lot of things. So we were discussing about the more link, and this more link was broken. That is very self-explanatory. So this was very helpful. That's what you should do as a tester. If you can record more information, then nothing left to say it or to document or to produce. So many times it might happen, like when you were working on the system, the bug was happening, then something changed in the system and bug is no more reproducible. So you have no justification of your words or your email. So recording a video is very nice idea. So Madhvi, what tool you use to record these videos?
ICE screen recorder.
Sorry, cam recorder.
ICE screen recorder.
Okay. You can share the tool name in the group, and then we all will also buy. So many times I want to record, but I don't have any tools handy.
Okay, I will share.
It was good. So we are back to the square one. Let us go through this article. So this guy discusses about SRS review and analysis. He says challenges, and then actual testing. We have discussed about the actual testing and different steps. Now, these will be terms like target date. What is the target? It is the date like when there will be a release, and all the dates put behind. Like if the release is on 1st of May, then release on 1st of May means release to the customer is on 1st of May. Then our internal release has to be at least 15-20 days before, and UAT happens somewhere in the middle, maybe 25th of April, and then our internal release happens on maybe 1 week ahead, so 18th or 19th of April. And for our internal release, we should finish the product by 1st of April. Like this, we do backtracking of the system. And if it is not able to, we are not able to release on 1st of May, then we'll have to tell the customer that you'll have to de-scope some items, like remove some items from the current release and make it possible, or change the date of the release from 1st May to 1st June, or whatever is doing. This is basically area of managers to plan the dates, to add the resources. Resources means more people, or just simply tell customer like this is not possible. So these are the jargons. Go through this. If you are not able to understand anything, post me the questions. I will come in the call and explain you this one-on-one. Or if you all want to come through with some questions, I can explain this whole document again. Like these are very interesting things. What is code freeze? So code freeze is like is a state. After that, no code change is done. So as a QA, you will say like this thing is working today, and they made some changes. They means who? The development team made some changes, and this thing is not working anymore. This particular flow, add beneficiary or the transaction module is not working. I am having a lot of bugs because the Q development team is changing the code every day. So then the management decides a timeline when the or a date when the code is frozen. Like after that, no change in the code. You guys go and test thoroughly. Whatever bugs are found, we will tell the customer that these are the bugs and we need this amount of time to fix all these bugs. So that stage of code is always changing and bugs are always coming is resolved because of you have frozen the code. There is build procedure. So build procedure is a complex process in which we take all the artifacts or the code libraries and bundle it and release it onto a box or a server. So that long process is known as build procedure, and DevOps is usually involved in the build procedure itself. Now testing, test summary report, all these are artifacts. Installer bindings, development, writing of test cases. So as a tester, these two are important for you. What is test specification and what is test plan? Apart from that, I told you guys one more document, requirement traceability matrix. So I'm yet to document it and send to you guys. We discussed in last class. So SRS is input for the development and testing process, and RTM is the output of that whole exercise. So, so in every computer process, there will be input and there will be output. So for example, adding two numbers, what is the input? We have A and B, those are two numbers. It can be integer, it can be float. And the output is the addition of these two. Similarly, in this whole cycle, the input is requirement document, lot of effort from the development team, lot of effort from the testing team and management, and the output is the product, the website that customer wanted, and the supporting documentation, maybe test specification, maybe RTM document, maybe a release document, what all we have tested, what all is certified by QA, is working and is in a good shape, and then customer takes it over. And then if they have any changes or suggestion, they come back with it. Is that clear to all of you?
What is code freezing, Shri? I don't understand.
Okay, code freeze. This is Madhvi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So code freeze is a state. You have worked on one project, right, Madhvi?
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you observe like a lot of time you are working on some piece and the another piece is broken or same piece is not working as it was working 10 days back? It happens, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is very common. These are the nuances between QA team and development team. It will keep on happening because product is not stable in the beginning. When we start the project, the product will be or the particular module will be unstable. But after some time, it start becoming stable. There will be lot of flows which are working fine. Only one or two cases are breaking. But assume that you as a tester told me that Sri in your login module the forgot password flow is not working, and I open the code. While fixing the forget password, I have broken something else. Maybe login I have broken without actually having any idea that I have broken that particular code. When you went for testing, you tested forgot password is working fine, but login module is breaking. No more logging in. It is no more signing up. So now what is this called? This is called regression.
Yeah.
So this regression is in one particular bug and one particular scenario, forgot password. In a big project, there might be 100 pieces like this which are changing regularly. Somebody is fixing forgot password, somebody is fixing a classes. If it is a blood test report example of the healthcare domain, there may be 5,000 lines of code change every day. Now these 5,000 lines of code which developers are changing may be improving 5,000 bugs, but they might be breaking another 100 scenarios or 100 test cases. So now to avoid all that, the management says, okay, after this particular date, there will be no code change. Nobody is touching the code. it is literally logged and nobody has access for modification. Everybody can read, but nobody can modify. So we have source control mechanism. Using that, lead or a project manager or the project owner, they will lock the code so that nobody can change. And then there was a free hand given to QA. Like now nobody is changing the code. You test whatever you want, and after that we will release it to customer. Or if we are happy that it is working as per the expectation, or these are the 100 final bugs which we have found after the code freeze, now you unfreeze the code and let the developer fix all these 100 bugs, just to avoid the nuances around the testing and development and testing and development.
Okay.
So when I told you, like, I found this article to be very good and it is crux of his experience, there are a lot of things written in this, like boundary condition, platform testing, and installer binding. What is installer binding? So many times we actually, customer will tell, like, you give me the executables and I'll take care of deploying in my system. So many times customers say, like, I am not technical, you will have to help me with installations. So when customer says, like, I want to install it, we'll have to prepare an installer. Like, you download some MSI file or exe file, you simply double click and it installs some system into your computer. Similarly, when we release the code to customer, so many customers, they ask for installers. So installer binding or installer building is something a tester may need to test. Like when he's clicking the installer, it is actually deploying the software and software is working as per the expectation. So that is again part of testing, but it is release testing. I'll try to find more jargons and articles like this, and I'll keep on publishing to you guys. Just go through these. This guy has written a good article. So any questions so forth, because we are close to 1 hour, and I would like to answer any questions or any discussions for next 5-10 minutes.
No questions.
No question in my side.
Okay. So let us pick some concept from this particular chart. What is data testing? Anyone? Regression testing, I just explained. User acceptance testing, we discussed in the first class and second class. We hand over the product to the user and then they test for acceptance scenarios. Integration testing, I gave a payment gateway example where we are integrating with the Razorpay and the Razorpay is not getting the value as expected, and that's a bug. System testing is overall system, as a system things are working good. We haven't touched this thing that is called data testing. Amit, any thought? Based on your experience, because you were a product guy.
About data testing?
Yeah, data testing. I understand it is primarily in terms of what data we are storing and the data validations in database.
So what we generally used to do as part of the data testing is we used to change a lot of data in the SQL actually directly.
Okay.
Okay, and then used to see how the system is behaving on the front end side. So it will be mostly people who are experts in SQL rather than people who basically test the product using the user interface of the product, right?
Okay.
So and another thing that lot of focus was there on the data integrity.
Okay.
So that was one of the important aspect of data testing, because data integrity has to be maintained. Otherwise, if your system is not able to maintain the data integrity, then it actually leads to a lot of issues.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's a nice point, actually. So just in layman's term, guys, assume that we are inserting user directly in database, or we are loading lot of user and seeing whether they are loaded properly in the system or not. So it is called data migration. Data testing might be part of data migration, or it can be done independently. So what I mean by data migration, take one example of like one company buys another company. So for example, tomorrow Snapdeal is bought by Flipkart. Snapdeal said I'm on sale, and Flipkart is, or take example of Myntra. Myntra is bought by Flipkart. Now all the users who are recorded in Myntra, they should be part of Flipkart, right? So one day Myntra engineer will come and say, or the Myntra architect will come and say, these are 1 million user or 10 lakh user. You'll have to upload into Flipkart system, because if they log in into Flipkart with the same user ID and password, you should honor them. So now this is migration. He will give the data, and then we will upload that data in the system, Flipkart system. So there may be 100 different things. Myntra maintains username and password. Flipkart maintains email and password. So now what to do? So we will tell Myntra that I need the emails for all these users. So he will translate email as username and then give it to Flipkart. So this is one example of like what data migration is and what are the nuances around it. Is that helpful? Okay. So that's pretty much all for today's class. I guess if nobody has any questions, we will close the session, and then I'll send this this document that I was following for follow up, and post me any questions if you have in this section or this section. Right? All good?
Yeah.
Okay. I saw Harish coming and going, and then there was some issue with I think Khyati's line and Harish's line. So we will share the recording if you missed something or sometime network was patchy for you guys. Thanks everyone. Have a good night, and post me questions or thoughts if you have any.
Thank you. Thanks everyone.
Okay. Good night, everyone.
Thanks all. Good night.
Good night.